Yangleo back in that fourth position. The rain's now really closed in and absolutely pouring down now. Then the first time.
Good drainage is essential for good sports turf. There are few sites where natural drains are sufficient, and supplementary drainage needs to be undertaken in cases where the ground becomes waterlogged on occasions or where the water is perched on the surface. Few of us will forget the shocking conditions at Kings Park during the semi-final of the 1995 Rugby World Cup between France and South Africa. In truth, many of us have been to sporting events where proceedings have come to an end as a result of excessive rainfall and poor underfoot conditions. However, this is increasingly becoming a thing of the past. In August last year, it was decided to bring in specialized drainage technology perfected in Europe to drain 11 of the 13 fields to be used in the 2003 World Cup cricket tournament. The contract was awarded to Shelton Drainage Solutions in what was believed to be the world's largest sports turf drainage contract ever. It's not only the speed of installation and minimal damage to the fields that makes their drainage design unique, but the marked improvements in playing conditions is particularly appealing. Evan, what was the problem here at Kingsmead and what results have been achieved with this Shelton system?
Okay, what used to happen was obviously the ground slopes all into one corner, and while our covers were on, you used to have water sitting on the covers. So once the rain has stopped and you pull the covers off, you're always going to get these huge pools that used to sit, and it all used to sort of flow into one corner of the ground. We've just got through a pretty rainy period now, and we haven't had a day's cricket called off, or every time it's rained, as soon as it stopped, we've got straight on, so it's working for us.
As Shelton not only drain cricket fields but any sports turf, who better than them and their award-winning equipment to deal with the problematical Greyville Strait?
A couple of years ago we had a problem at the 900 metre mark, which was a serious problem as far as the drainage is concerned. We put that Shelton system in, solved the problem, and obviously it just moved further and further down. At the 500 metre mark where the junction was, where we moved the false rail, drainage stopped, caused a serious problem. At the winning post, serious problem. The winning post, because of the north wing building, there's not much sun, and of course the water just sat there and it didn't go through percolate through the soil. And we said, right, we had 15 millimetres of rain one Sunday. We had abandoned a meeting, and of course all hell let loose. But what everybody forgot, it wasn't the 15 millimetres in the morning, it was all the rain we'd had 7 days before, and the temperatures were very low and very little sunshine. So we decided to get Shelton in. Well, first of all, it's a very professional setup. The machinery, absolutely magnificent. There's no big trenches dug. They don't disturb the turf, and they don't disturb the comeback time of all your grass going back is quick and easy.
A prime requirement for any racetrack is for all runners to have even going, and the Shelton system, consisting of a comprehensive network of pipe drains and gravel bands, will no doubt go a long way to ensuring this. The huge cutting wheel, fitted with tungsten carbide teeth and spinning at 300 revolutions a minute, cut through the roots of the grass like a knife through butter. A blade is dragged behind the cutting wheel, ensuring that the groove is left clean and free of any soil collapses.
We cut a 78 millimetre trench with a 65 millimetre perforated pipe in the bottom. It's a core drain pipe, it's corrugated, and we use that specifically because the flow in the pipe is always turbulent, so any fines that get into the pipe get bumbled along and just taken out the end of the pipe.
On top of that, the auto gravel placement hopper places a -6,7 cubitized or rounded roadstone up to 70 or 80 millimeters from the surface. Crushed gravel is avoided as it tends to compact. The voids between the roadstone hastens the movement of water to the drainage pipes below.
Then the trench is topped off with a fairly clean sand to enable your gases and what have you to exchange in and out of the trench, and also obviously to absorb water.
A secondary gravel system was then installed at right angles to the drainage pipes to act as the initial pickup of water from the ground. Deep slit drains 25 millimeters wide and 300 millimeters deep were excavated using a gravel banding machine.
That is immediately filled by gravel behind that, and as the machine travels, there's a little press wheel at the end which just closes it all over again. So you literally see no more than a line on the grass. Here at Greyville, the pipes are basically at 7.5 meters apart, and the gravel banding at 800, except for the last 50 meters of the straight and the 80 meters in the pull-up area, where the gravel bands have been put in at 400 millimeter centers. Now, essentially, we would expect with these soil conditions, etc., after 25 millimeters of rain, that the horses will be back on within 2 hours after the stoppage of rain.
That's good news, and the benefits don't just end there.
The horticultural advantages, as we call them, come about by the virtue of the fact that the soil is never saturated with water in the crucial growing or the root zone of the grass. So the fact that the gravel bands go down to 250-300 millimeters means that you never saturate that area of the ground, and you leave behind like a sponge. When the water runs out of a sponge, when you put it on the table out of the bath, the water left behind in the sponge is essentially like the soil, ideal for the amount of water for the grass to grow. Now, never flooding the grass means that you never drown the roots, because within 48 hours you will always lose your hair roots of the grass. So over a period of probably 2 years, you find that the roots develop fully in that 300 millimeters of the top of the ground, and you get a good healthy grass. It gives you fast recovery. When you have an excess water in the ground, it becomes lubricated, and your horses are likely to get its hooves into 100-150 millimeters into the ground. But as soon as you take the excess water away, you've basically taken some of the lubrication away. So you probably only get 50 to 70 millimeters of penetration from the horse's hoof, which obviously brings down the amount of damage on the track and makes the management that much easier.
And hopefully a happier Ralph. Should you have any reason to doubt, whilst excavation was still underway at Greyville, this was what ran out of the drains 15 minutes after the sprinklers were switched off after a routine morning's watering at the track. So Greyville joins Royal Ascot, Newlands, Wanderers, the Athlone Stadium and Loftus Versfeld amongst others that have capitalised on this technology. So when we next see you at Greyville on November the 29th for the AstroPack Challenge between the Natal Sharks and the Western Cape Stormers, you can look forward to a new and improved racing surface.